What do you think? Do you think a princess and a guy like me?
No.
Being held by you.
You don't even know? Put that down. Alone in the south.
Being held by you.
You don't even know? Put that down.
Situation normal.
From now on.
Alone in the south.
Being held by you. Needn't worry, laser brain.
You don't even know? Put that down.
Situation normal.
From now on. Come on, General. Let's move.
Right.
Alone in the south.
Being held by you. Needn't worry, laser brain.
You don't even know? Put that down.
Situation normal.
From now on.
Alone in the south.
Being held by you. Needn't worry, laser brain.
You don't even know? Put that down.
Situation normal.
From now on.
Alone in the south.
Being held by you.
Alone in the south.
Being held by you.
Okay.
We lost Elena.
We are visible. We are live, and we just lost our guest. Hey.
Elena!
All right. We'll give her a minute or so to come back. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Disaster strikes at exactly the right time. Let's maybe get some tunes going while we're here, yeah?
Oh,
Maybe. Yes. No. Maybe so.
I have hope.
I think we have her back.
I'm so
back?
sorry.
Hooray! Okay, cool.
Perfect timing, right?
Yes. That's
We have a minute
that's
left.
podcasting.
Boom.
We are live. How's everybody doing? Thanks for joining our May the 4th be with you stream. Let's go ahead and now that we are all connected, yes, everybody's recording. Let's just jump right into it. Hello, fellow Galactic listeners. I'm Aaron Julian, and this is WSTR Galactic Public Access, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 170. That's a lot of episodes. Guys, is there anything going on today? Something I need to know about?
Monday.
Monday, yeah, definitely Monday.
It is Monday, which kind of blows, but oh yeah, it's Star Wars Day.
Yay!
May the 4th be with you. Yes, every day is Star Wars Day for us, but today it is especially Star Wars Day because it is May the 4th. We have a big announcement at the end of our show for everyone, so please stay tuned. Stay on the edge of your seat. Don't get up. Hold on to the handrails. If you have a heart condition, you may need to sit down. But we're here today to celebrate all things Star Wars. One way that people do that, and we have done, is cosplay. So we're going to talk a little bit about cosplay today, as we have some fun here with our special guest, cosplay royalty, Miss Elena Strikes. Elena, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. What's up?
All right. We also have Miss Carla Giacalone.
Happy Star Wars Day! What's up?
And Miss Heather Allred.
Hi, I'm here with my friends, Baby Yoda and Adult Yoda.
I'll join
You've got like Yoda overload going on over there.
I need all the wisdom I can get.
And Mr. Todd Double D Hoffman.
What's
Welcome
up,
back,
everybody? Yeah.
Nice to have you here.
Happy Star Wars Day.
Awesome. Well, let's get right into it, everybody. All the new and nerdy things going on in our lives with Cantina Chat.
Do. I like to sing.
Okay, who is up first? Let's start with Miss Heather Allred. What have you been up to in the world of nerddom?
Oh, well, so yeah, I finished season dose of Clone Wars, and I have to have a big shout out to the second to last episode where R2 got to be the hero. I was very excited, saving everybody, because I'm kind of a nerd. And then I started season 3, which is pretty exciting. I feel like the pace has immediately already picked up from season 2, so I'm ready to get going. I got to put on the Jawa a little while ago, which was great. For a video that the 501st Midwest Garrison put together, that Todd was also a part of, so stealing part of Todd's Cantina Chat. So that was fun, and that launched today, and I believe we've already shared it with our fans through the social medias. Still working on my crochet stuff. Got quite a few characters in process. And then I picked up an off-world Jawa.
Oh, geez.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So cool.
I was walking through Target for a real quick trip, and I was like, oh, I'll just look. And there he was.
Was that
Staring
today?
at me.
Was that today?
This was yesterday.
Oh, good
Wow.
choice. Beat the crowds.
And then my final piece of information is my love-hate relationship with Shop Disney.
Oh.
Don't even.
So today is May the 4th.
What did you do?
Well, here's the thing. I knew it was going to be like me and 3 million of my closest friends all getting onto Shop Disney at the exact same time to buy exclusive merch. And I respect being someone who works on websites for a living, the calamity that can come from that. But I had everything I wanted in my cart, and I hit that continue,
Oh.
and it just stopped.
Oh.
No.
And it just, this little spinning blue wheel of death, it just kept
No.
going. And when it finally got me through, it actually just cleared out my entire cart. And I lost everything.
I am so sorry for that loss.
So, but on a positive note, the main thing I went for was the Starbucks "You Are Here" mugs, which I don't know
They
if
were
you're familiar
selling
with.
those?
So they were selling. So
Wow.
when you visit Star Wars, or visit Star Wars. When
We
you
visit Star Wars every day.
Star Wars every day.
In our minds.
Yes.
When you go to like San Francisco, you can pick up the San Francisco Starbucks mug. Well, they did a Hoth, a Bespin, and a Dagobah "You Are Here" Star Wars mug from Starbucks, and it's the only thing I wanted, and they completely sold out.
Oh no.
I
Ah.
saw someone on Facebook say, "I just back ordered my mugs," and I said, "Excuse me," and so I literally flipped my phone, and I was like, and so I have back ordered my mugs. They will be available in July,
Oh
so
my god.
Well,
I will have a secondary May the 4th.
that's fine.
Oh my goodness. So, but I did buy a mug that was specifically for the 40th anniversary for May the 4th kind of. So I got something, not the thing I wanted.
There you
So
go.
that must be what it's like when you're trying to get like San Diego Comic-Con tickets, where you're just like, get me in, get me in, get me in.
New York Comic Con for us.
Yeah.
It could be a 40-minute to 2-hour ordeal waiting in a virtual line to get tickets. It's the worst.
So it's crazy.
It's not the product you buy, it's the friends you make along the way.
So I had a whirlwind of a day today, but all for a good cause.
Excellent. Awesome. Carla, what have you been up to?
Well, I have my Ray Buns for today, so I was nerding out
Ooh,
with
look at
those.
that.
I haven't practiced putting them in for a while, so I was like, let me do the Ray Buns for today, in celebration.
They
But
look amazing.
thanks.
That look great.
Yas queen.
So finish Clone Wars, obviously. Finished Clone Wars today.
Wrecked me.
exciting.
Wrecked me.
Mm,
Don't even get me started.
they
So I
knew.
really-
I got my
They knew.
Yeah.
To release on
Trent
May the
looks over to
4th.
me- Yeah, Trent looks over to me. He's like, "Dad, are you okay?" I'm like, "Fine."
I'm not crying, okay?
Fine.
My eyes are sweating.
Yeah.
An onion truck just exploded.
Oh, yeah.
My eyes are just leaking. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You're right. They're leaking. Yeah.
So there was that, and then for the past was it 2 weeks or so? I have been helping out with the Rebel Legion. We just had yesterday our first ever Rebel-thon. So because we can't be out in the community and doing what we normally do to help raise money for charity, a bunch of the higher ups thought, hey, why don't we do kind of like one of those old telethon events, except we'll make it a webathon. So they basically reached out to all of the base, PR, social media people, and were like, hey, get your peeps together and give us some stuff. So I was kind of wrangling. I was wrangling the members here in New Jersey. I was like, guys, record this, do this, give it to me. We have to represent. So so basically, they just got a bunch of member-made content, and then they also had a really great list of guests from the movies, whether it's behind the scenes or some of the creatures and droids that you've seen, some of the voice actors, stuff like that. So it was supposed to be a 12-hour run, but I think it ended up being almost
till 4 a.m. or
4
something.
o'clock or something.
Wow.
Yeah. So it started at 12 noon yesterday.
Yeah.
And then it ended at 4.
Wow.
But I mean, it just turned out to be so awesome. We got so many people to come on and watch and just really share the love of Star Wars, but also doing it for such a great cause. And the money went to UNICEF to help fight against this whole COVID situation. And last I checked, I think we were almost at $11,000, which
That's
is
fantastic.
which is beyond what we could have ever imagined to raise. So, just shouting out to all of the Deveron members. Thank you guys for, helping out. And then to, of course, all the, the other Rebel Legion members,
No, they don't matter. It's just your base.
No, but it's so awesome to be part of such a awesome group. I mean, being in the 501st too, I guess that kind of leads me into my second little spiel here. But just in thinking about Star Wars Day, it just makes me think about this huge family that I have, and just with things that have been going on in life for me and everything, I realized that I have so many awesome people in my life, and Star Wars brings everybody together, and I don't want to cry, but it just is so awesome. And
it's crazy that a movie could do that. And I think that's what the power of Star Wars is, is we're having a podcast. We met you guys virtually. I mean, it's weird, right? And then you get to meet each other together, and it's just a cool little thing. And, it's pretty special for sure.
Yeah. So I was just kind of reflecting on that today, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's been going on.
Right on. Okay. Todd, you're up. What have you been up to?
I'm Todd Hoffman, and I love Star Wars.
Hi, Todd.
Todd.
Star Wars Day. It's so funny because it's honestly, like everyone's like, dude, it's May the 4th. I'm like, every day is May the 4th for me. I mean, like, it's just you just come into my little hole, my little world for like a day, but I'm like living the dream every day. So I posted, so I have, because one podcast is not enough. I have two podcasts, so I started something with my son Trent. And so I posted something about the Ahsoka and Darth Maul fight, and tagged Ray Park and Lauren Mary Kim, who did the stunt work. And they both commented on my post. And I was like, oh my gosh. So Ray Park.
You've been touched by royalty.
Yeah. So Ray Park put my little story on his story, and then Mary Kim actually commented, and I commented back, and I was like, I love you, you're so great. So that was cool. And then for 501st Day, the official 501st liked my tattoo video. So I was like, oh, yes.
Nice.
You've been acknowledged.
Yes. So it felt, again, it's just cool, it's just cool, especially as bad as social media is, there is some good in it, and it makes the world smaller, and, it's just kind of cool. So that was cool. I already kind of explained, like, the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars is just chef's kiss. I mean, it's just beautifully well done, well animated, and like I said earlier, like, it wrecked me today. I was just wrecked. I was like, and I'm like, I love Star Wars so much. But yeah, so, and then a buddy of mine that, like, I was a youth group leader for him, and he's like, hey, my son is 8. And I'm like, hold on, first of all, you shouldn't have a son that's 8, because that makes me really, really old because you're a teenager. But anyways, that's okay. And so he's like, my son's birthday is today. I was like, fantastic. And but because they're in like quarantine and stuff like that, can't do anything. So I did a birthday video for him, which is fantastic. I'm glad I could do that. So I did a little Stormtrooper birthday party or video for him, and that was fun. And since I'm already dressed up, might as well go outside and take some pictures, So we were gonna walk around the neighborhood, but it was 70 yesterday, and it was like 50 and windy today. I'm like, no one's outside, everybody's inside, so no one's gonna see me, But so we just took a couple pictures outside. But yeah, so got dressed up a little bit today too, so because it's Star Wars Day, So. Yeah, so there you go. Elena?
Awesome.
So do I go? Do I just talk about what I've done?
Yeah, like
Sure.
this whole week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything nerdy, doesn't have to be Star Wars, can be, whatever you've been up to.
Not much since I'm home. Her Universe did like and retweet I took a picture in my Tano shirt today, and posted it on Twitter. So they liked and retweeted that. So I had like a little moment. I also finished Clone Wars today. Today meaning at 2 a.m. I was crying myself to sleep. It was beautiful. But I have to say, as heartbreaking as it is that it's over, I'm just really glad that we have a conclusion finally to the Clone Wars, and that it was so beautifully done, and not in the way that I expected, with like a big shebang and tie-in to to the prequels, but in a very focused way. I don't know if that makes sense, but I
makes
think
sense.
the direction that they went in, I'm really happy with. Other than that, I've been filming actually a lot of, like, I was filming for our Rebelthon. I was filming a lot of stuff. I've been doing a lot of don't rush challenges, like with the brush, where you like.
It's so fantastic.
They're so fun, and I've gotten really into TikTok.
Oh no!
Your one today was so good. The one you sent me today.
10K views already. I'm like,
Wow.
It was just it's just like a video of me, like, oh, everyone like celebrating May the 4th, and then me sitting on my bed with my blanket like wrapped up, like me still emotionally like trying to recover from Clone Wars today. And I guess people related to that, so it's been getting views.
So it had 10,000 likes in less than 24 hours.
Views. 10,000.
Oh, 10,000 views.
I don't know what it's at now, but last I checked an hour ago, it was at 10,000. I posted it around like lunchtime or something. So I was like, oh my God, I'm TikTok famous. But that's about it. not too much. I'm also finishing school right now, so I'm kind of like just doing homework all the time. But
you're like, I could make another TikTok video and I'll be okay.
I'm like, I should write this essay, or I can make a TikTok. Such a waste of time. Oh my god, TikTok is just an endless pit of nonsense. And
so I just want I'm putting everyone in blast. I'm like, hey guys, should we join TikTok? And they're like, no.
It's a weird platform. I have to say, I'm 21 and I feel old on it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, then I am definitely Jurassic Park.
Like there's so many kids on, like they're like 14, 16-year-olds. I'm like, where's your mom?
Yeah, I won't join.
I'm approaching
because I'm
26. I have no chance.
I'm always afraid, like, ooh, like I don't know if I'm gonna see my students on here. Like,
that's what a lot of like.
No, Dio, no, thank you. No, thank you.
The memes are good, though. I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Aaron, how about you?
Well, I suppose if you ask me.
Well, since you asked.
Right.
Yeah, I've been on this weird like cinematic journey where I've been trying to watch every Friday the 13th movie. I don't know why.
All right.
But
Do you
I'm
watch
like,
it just
you know
on
what?
Fridays? Because that would be awesome too if you just like every Friday.
No,
There
not
that
quite.
many?
Just kind of like whenever I'm bored and I have some time and like I can't sleep, I'm like, I'll watch one. And they're all awful. They're not great movies, but they're still just kind of fully schlock, and so I'm okay with that. But yeah, I just finished part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, which means I'm like more than halfway through the series, which I'm fine with. I think the next one is
how many
like,
movies are there?
oh
That's what I'm
god, there's
curious
like
about.
12 or 13, something like that.
We should do
Why?
one on Jason Goes to Space, you know.
Yeah. So the next one is Jason Goes to Hell, and then
Yeah.
the one after that is Jason X, which is where he goes to space.
Yes.
And then there's Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, okay.
And then there's the Friday the 13th like reboot / remake question mark.
Legit. Yeah, legit.
Yeah. I might be missing one there, but I think that's mostly what I,
I think
have
it's the
left.
Christmas special.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I have no logical explanation for why I'm doing this, but I just felt like, you know what? I've never watched the Friday the 13th movie, so why don't I give him a fair shake? And yeah, I'm full of regret. but
I appreciate your persistence. Like you're going to finish this. That's what I like about you. You're going to take this all the way to the end.
Yeah, and then after I'm done with that, I'm going to turn my attention to the Clone Wars because I've already had it spoiled for me. So it kind of sucks, but I'm like, you know what? I just need to like start after season 1 and then just work my way through, and I'll be okay.
Yeah.
And as we'll uncover later, there's going to be plenty of Star Wars content to come, so that's fine.
We're fine.
Other than that, I've got some like audio jobs coming up, which is weird because we're also in quarantine, but you could still do some jobs with social distancing. So that'll be
it's
interesting.
Called a boom mic. You just put the boom mic out.
Exactly. I know. I need to carry a boom.
Too?
Oh,
yeah.
Hey-o.
I should. I've seriously considered cosplaying as that, by the way. But yeah, I need to carry like a 6-foot boom pole wherever I go and just like poke people away. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I've been up to. Except I started playing and streaming this video game called Phantom Doctrine, which is like XCOM, but if it was the Cold War. And so you're like it's like a strategy game where you're trying to like sneak around and gain intel on different enemy positions, but also you can't get discovered as a spy. And if you get discovered as a spy, which will happen eventually, you have to like mobilize everybody and like have like a shootout and then have an escape. But like you can't call your escape too early because then they'll just wait around and be like compromised. And so you need to get there. But you know, the longer you can stay around, the more intel you can gather, but then like they're going to send reinforcements to just like kill you. I know, but it's so cool. Because especially every piece of intel that you get, you basically have like a cork like conspiracy board where you put all your intel, and you have to like find common elements between all the different pieces of intel and like draw yarn to like connect everything. And so you basically live out the fantasy of being like this spy conspiracy theorist that's also like saving America or saving Soviet Russia, whichever side you play on. It's so much fun. I love it. But it's
you're
super
on
nerdy.
Two polar extremes. You're like rotting your brain with Friday the 13th, and then now you're trying to save America. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been up to. Not much Star Wars, except today I found on Reddit some mad lad nerd managed to do like a 4-hour edit of the Clone Wars mixed with Revenge of the Sith. I've not watched it yet because everybody's downloading it and it's taking forever to download, but it's supposed to be pretty good. So maybe next week I could report on that.
Please do.
But that's my big Star Wars Day thing. So yeah, that's what I've been up to with Cantina Chat. And
that was a full Cantina Chat.
I know that was like
meaty.
It was like real meaty.
It was. I didn't realize like how much nerdy stuff I was up to until I actually got into it. And I'm like, oh God, I'm so sorry.
You were like, I'm just gonna keep going now.
Yep. There's no
We started
backing
this
out.
trade.
Okay, so we're here to talk today about cosplay. We got a special guest, but first we got to pay the bills. So first of all, you can find everybody on the socials. Heather at Hawk Awesome. Carla at Carla Marie Giac, that's GIAC. Todd at Tizod, TI4Zs, OD. And myself at Aaron Julian, HOUILLON. And of course, the podcast at WSTR Media, all one word, all lowercase. If you want to contact us, you can email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. You can leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. That's right. Call in with your phone. Do you even use it as a phone anymore?
No.
Who knows? But it's there. We want to hear from you. So leave us a voicemail and we will play it on an upcoming podcast. Are we boomers? Voicemail is so old. Anyway. Our entire back catalog of episodes and all links can be found at podcast.wstrmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Audible. Yes, you've heard of it, but have you used it? It is Amazon's premier audiobook streaming service. It's an easy, no-risk way to support this podcast and find some entertainment, some education, and dare I say it, some edutainment in the downtime of your day. And don't lie, you've got a ton of downtime now. You may not be driving around, but you've got nothing else to do. So why not listen to a book, get entertained, get educated, get something-aided with over 425,000 titles to choose from wherever and whenever and however you want to listen. Head on over to audibletrial.com/WSTR for your free 30-day trial. That includes one free audiobook of your choice, full length, and you get 2 free Audible originals. That's Audible created content that you can't get anywhere else. And you can cancel your trial at any time. No questions asked. We win. We get support from you. You win because you get a free audiobook and 2 free Audible originals. The only loser is Amazon. And let's be honest, they're not losers at all because they are making all the money. They can absorb that cost. So once again, audibletrial.com/WSTR. Throw a few bucks our way and get a free audiobook and 2 free Audible originals out of it. Everybody wins. We also have got merchandise. Head on over to store.wstrmedia.com, where we have partnered with the good old folks at Teespring to bring you WSTR merchandise to cover yourself or a loved one head to toe with WSTR merch. That's store.wstrmedia.com for your podcast-themed merchandise today. We are also brought to you by our Patreon. That's right, patreon.com/WSTR media. It's a way for you to directly support the podcast and every other creative project that you love directly. Our current patrons are Mr. Jason Handy, Mr. Jeremy Myers, Mr. Scarif Scuttlebutt Podcast, and introducing Mr. Army John. Thank you for joining us at Patreon. You give us money, we give you exclusive content you can't get anywhere else, extra content above and beyond the regular podcast, including Heather's Holocron, Heather's kind of journey into all things Star Wars and discovering new nooks and crannies of information she never knew, and maybe you don't know either. We've also got Starside Chat, which is a collaboration between myself, JD, and other guests as we dive into topics that are either too niche, too nerdy, too weird for the main episodes, or just like, completely entertaining and off topic. We've even got video. So if your eyeballs are craving some WSTR, head on over to patreon.com/WSTR media. We've also got access to an exclusive Discord community so you can get up-to-date updates on everything that we're doing. Pretty fast, direct communication with us. And we've also got some swag in the store for you. So if that's your thing, if you love WSTR and you want to support us further, head on over to patreon.com/WSTR media for your exclusive content today. All right. Our bills are paid. Heather, let's tease that news.
I will. It's a big day. So clearly there's some exciting news.
Yes.
So let's find out. All wings report in. What a piece of junk.
Oh.
A New Hope.
Ooh.
And then some chill beats. You can save the galaxy to.
All right.
There we go.
I like the sound of that.
This is why you have to watch the live stream, people.
Yes. I forgot to mention, we're on YouTube. We're streaming every single week, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on the YouTubes.
Not just the Star Wars Day, every Monday.
Every week.
Every Monday.
So that's what I have. I will tell you more later.
All right.
But first, Carla.
Yes.
Is there anything you'd like to share with us?
I've got some trash. Got some trash here in the trash compactor. Specifically from Twitter. All right. So last week we were talking about some kind of like men versus women fandom of Star Wars. And we tweeted out our poll here, and the question was, who is your favorite Star Wars female character? We know there is more. Drop them in the comments. # Star Wars, # Wednesday Wisdom. And we have the choices here are Rey Skywalker, Princess Leia, Ahsoka Tano, or Jyn Erso. And we got a lot of votes on this one, guys. 193 votes.
Nice.
Wow.
Wow. That's pretty good participation as far as our polls go.
Looks like we have a few comments, a couple of write-ins, but before we get to the results, how about we go around? Elena, you're our guest. So who would you pick out of those four as your favorite female character? Or you can write it.
Oof. That's hard. I think, and this is
you're saying it's hard and you're wearing the shirt, so I don't know.
I was about to say, I think it's very much influenced by my shirt and by Clone Wars, but I think I'm going to say Ahsoka.
Wow.
I normally am a Princess Leia girl, but right now I'm feeling all the feels for Ahsoka Tano.
Right on.
Nice. Heather, how about you?
Yeah. I'm gonna stick with my girl, so I'm gonna be a write-in. I'm going with my girl Padme, Queen Amidala.
Yes,
I
Heather did
Padme.
write in. Yeah, Padme.
I just love her. I know there's all the flack in the world out there for the prequels and the awkwardness that is Natalie and Hayden. But whatever. Whatever. I don't know. I love her being young and having power, but being soft and moving into this role. And then what I'm seeing of her in Clone Wars, I actually really dig. So I'm getting there, girl. Don't you?
I love it though.
I'm getting there. So
It's on her though, and I'm like, why? She's so cool.
she is cool, and she wears the best outfits. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No, so yeah. I mean, it's hard, and I'm sure as I continue in Clone Wars, I'm sure Ahsoka's gonna rise up the ranks. But for now, Padme's my gal.
Excellent.
Right on.
Aaron, how about you?
Well, I don't know if JD is watching. I don't know if JD is watching, but in case he is, hi JD. I'm gonna tender a vote in his favor or in his stead, and put in Kreia as a favorite female character. And he's got his reasons, so I'll just let that speak for him.
We should insert JD clip right here.
Yeah. But I would like to offer my own vote.
Ooh.
After playing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Seer Junda.
Good
She's
choice, man.
She's a supporting character in this game. She was a former Jedi Knight who mentored this Padawan, but in the aftermath of Order 66, ended up losing her. And she turned to the dark side and became the ninth sister, who was this inquisitor who hunted after other Jedi. And Seer was so racked with guilt that she cut herself off from the Force. But she never stopped believing in the Jedi Order, and she dedicated herself to kind of cultivating it in the aftermath of Order 66. And she's just so well written and well performed in the game that, you know, I can't ignore her at all. That would be my write-in vote.
Very nice. I like that.
That's a deep cut, dude.
Yeah,
deep
it is.
Off the beaten path.
You know, on
What
Star
a
Wars Day, I guess
nerd.
you can go a little bit more nerdier. You know?
Yeah.
Just pick one of the four up here, Aaron. Come on.
I'm sorry, but it's a flaw of Twitter. You only get 4 choices. What is that?
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
If other people could write in, so will I.
Todd, how about
yeah. First of all, it pained me to write Rey Skywalker. I'm just gonna say that right now.
you? So why did you?
That's her official name.
What is it?
I'm maybe. Let's not go there, Carla. Don't push those buttons. I really like Jen a lot. I just feel like she's someone that had a jaded past and wants to stay low, but then gets pushed into the cause. And I just love that transformation, you know, from like kind of like street rat to, you know, like a rebellion leader. I really like that. But I'm feeling Clone Wars so good. I just, Ahsoka to me has like turned into somebody that I just like really admire. And yeah, I'm going Ahsoka Tano here.
All right.
Excellent.
Carla?
Do you guys even need to ask? Really?
Well, you are wearing Ray. You're wearing the Ray buns.
True.
So.
True.
I was gonna say You cosplay as 3 out of the 4 choices we have.
No, I gotta go with.
Yeah, don't give Carla another avenue to choose a cosplay here, but
I gotta go with my girl Leia.
Yeah.
She's at the heart. So yeah, Princess Leia.
there you go.
I do have to say, I appreciate the one write-in, Dr. Afra.
Mhm.
She is a very underrated character, so I really appreciate the person who wrote that in.
Oh yeah.
I would love to see her in a Disney Plus series. I think she would that would be a perfect
Ready.
Yeah. Be perfect.
So let's see. So if we go through the write-ins here, we had a few. So the one, Elena, that you mentioned.
Sorry, I jumped the gun. I just got really excited when I saw that.
Joshua Rowe, 24. So he tweeted replying Tano with a runner-up in Dr. Chelly, right? Is that how
I
you
think
say
that's
it?
how you say it.
Chelly Lona Afra. Then we have Girls with Sabers. They tweeted Mitra Surik.
Yeah, that's like Old Republic. That's a JD. That's a JD right
That's a
there.
JD right
I
in.
don't
that's
recognize that.
that's a deep cut.
That was the one. That was the one where I was like, JD. Somebody wrote about Old Republic, and he's like, "Oh, that's just not my favorite." And I'm just like, dude.
All due respect, JD is incredibly picky about certain things.
I know.
Let's see. Next is BD Lena. BD Lena. I don't know. If I had to pick one, none. I would have to choose more than one.
Oh.
Ooh. I see what you did there.
It's kind of like being given 3 wishes by a genie and you say, I wish for more wishes.
Right.
right.
Then after that one, let's see, ruling. It's kind of like cut off, but ruling the galaxy is father and son, I'm assuming is the name.
Yeah.
Leia is my choice, but very happy to see love for Rey.
All right.
Then we have Empire Minister, Ray Sloan. Ooh.
That's a good one.
She's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then we have Jeremy Tchaikovsky. I hope I said that right. Saj Ventress. It's another good one.
Why don't y'all have easier to pronounce names? What's wrong with you?
Star Wars. It's Star Wars and like Twitter followers. It's like the perfect combination, you know?
That was obviously tongue in cheek. I have a very hard to pronounce name as well.
All right. So going through the results here. Coming in first is Princess Leia with 39%. Close behind her, Ahsoka with 32%. Then we had Rey, 19%, and Jin with 9%. So,
there you go.
Sucks to suck.
Oh, you leave Jin alone.
Oh, no.
She's not my favorite. I'm sorry.
It's okay. All right.
So, yeah.
All right. We took out the trash. Now it's time for our main topic. All right, Elena, you are on the hot seat. So since it's Star Wars Day, if you didn't know, it's Star Wars Day.
What?
May the 4th.
Got it.
How did you get into Star Wars?
So I did not grow up with Star Wars, as I think most people have. Yeah, my parents were like too cool for all that, so they didn't show me any cool movies growing up. My mom is from Russia too, so she wasn't really exposed to a lot of this stuff. So in high school, I was going through stuff, and I had always heard about Star Wars, but didn't know what all the hype was. And actually, they had just announced Force Awakens. So there was a lot of hype again for Star Wars. And I was like, I've never seen these movies. Let me just sit down and watch them over the weekend, and I instantly fell in love. It was love at first sight. I was in a program in high school that had a fashion segment, and we got to pick costumes from movies. So I was just trying to brainstorm ideas at the time, and when I watched Star Wars, I saw Padme's beautiful rainbow lake dress, and I was like, I need to make that dress. I really love Star Wars. This is awesome. So by the time the year had gone through, I had watched Star Wars over and over and over again because I was researching. But um, yeah, that's basically how I got into it. It's just kind of snowballed into this obsession that has taken over my life now, and I'm surrounded by Star Wars toys, and half my wardrobe is Star Wars. It's led to a lot of great things like joining the Rebel Legion and 501st. So second family, great community. I love it.
Awesome. Very cool.
What
So,
order did you watch the Star
Oh,
Wars
yeah.
movies in?
I watched them in episodical order because I already knew
Okay.
about the big plot twist. And the person who
Anakin doesn't like sand.
oh yeah, that one.
Yeah,
But
that
my
one.
friend that I had asked what order to watch them in, she was not a prequel fan, so she was like, "Oh yeah, get these terrible movies out of the way first." I was like, "Okay," and I ended up loving them more. I love all Star
Wow.
Wars, but I'm a big prequel defender now. So um, there's
Interesting.
cringe that I will not defend, but there's a lot of amazing things that have come out of the prequels. I think that is taken for granted. I think, but that's where I stand.
Awesome. So, what do you do outside of Star Wars cosplay? What's your day job look like?
So I am a student, actually finishing this semester in like a couple weeks now. I'm in finals mode. I'm graduating virtually.
Hooray!
I am virtual walk from that door to my
I laugh
webcam.
because it hurts because it's true.
It kind of sucks because I've been suffering the past 4 years and I don't
Yeah.
even get to celebrate it, but oh well. But I'm also an intern in New York City. I work for a company called Adventure Media. They have 3 publications called Pop Insider and Toy Insider and Toy Book. So it's mostly toys, which is like my dream come true because I get to play with toys. And for the more pop culture aspect of it, I get to play with a lot of Star Wars toys and
Oh
a lot of other
boy.
stuff too. There's
Yeah. It's such a hard job, man.
there's a lot of, I mean, I do social media and graphic design work for them, but I with the social media I get to my favorite day at work was when I got to do a time lapse video of me building a Lego A-wing. So I was like, oh, guess what I did at work today to my parents? I got to play with Legos. That's not all my job is, but that's definitely
Yeah.
a huge perk. And it's not just Star Wars, it's like anything you can imagine, board games, Power Rangers, Fortnite toys. So there's a huge mix of stuff that so I get to be in the know of what's, upcoming. And I got to go to Toy Fair this year in February. This is right before all the, COVID
Yeah.
stuff happened. And there was definitely effects of it in the toy industry at the time. So it was really interesting to see how it was affecting everything. But I'm really lucky that I at least got to go and get that really exclusive experience because it is industry only. So I got to see a lot of previews for like the Baby Yoda stuff.
You saw all the Baby Yoda merch.
I got to see all the Baby Yoda merch, a lot of cool Star Wars stuff and pops. Oh, the Funko Pop booth, the best. There's a giant Pikachu I got to take a picture with. So yeah, that's my current internship day job.
So what do you want to do after you graduate here?
So I actually am going to school for studio arts, which is like fine arts.
Okay.
The reason why I went into graphic design and I have a minor in graphic design is because nobody wants painters. So it's definitely a good backbone to have as a graphic designer because there are a lot of graphic designers that are not actually like artistically proficient. I'm not saying all graphic designers. I'm just saying that there is a lot of people who do rely just on the computer. But it gives me kind of a leg up that I have an artistic background. and have skills with the computer. So I'm not really sure what I want to do yet. It's an odd time for me because I got into cosplay and it's become a side hustle for me. So I'm kind of like, do I do this full time? I also am a co-host for a podcast. I do all the volunteer work with 501st and Rebel Legion. So I'm like all over the map right now and I have no idea what I want to do. So I'm
Her
just kind of
art is really good. It's
What's that?
amazing. I said her art is really good.
Oh.
It's
Thank you.
amazing.
Appreciate it. That I would love to get into art, but it's a very competitive industry. So I try not to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be an artist. Like it's a difficult thing to get into.
Yeah.
So it's something I do kind of for myself for now. And I do a little bit of like commission work, but it's not like good for full-time money. So graphic design for now.
Right. And the answer is graphic design. There you go.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so can you explain to our listeners why cosplay is important to you? So like where did that bug hit you to start cosplaying? And was it Star Wars first, or did you start something small, or how did that all kind of come into fruition?
So it was Star Wars. It was that. So this dress that I had made for my high school fashion show was basically my way of kind of getting into cosplay without even realizing it. I didn't really know what cosplay was at the time. I was going to New York Comic Con and stuff, and I would see people dress up, but I thought it was just a convention thing. And then I started finding people on Instagram who did it, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. People actually like, this is their job. So I did a photo shoot in that dress, and then went to New York Comic Con that year dressed as little sister from BioShock, and I think that's what started it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, because everybody called me Dark Alice at New York Comic Con. Really, only maybe 5.
Yeah, that's an
people knew
old
who I was.
old video game that and doesn't.
Somebody
It's not as
literally
good as
came up to me and
BioShock.
was like, "Oh, BioShock's irrelevant." I was like, "Oh."
Oh.
I was very heartbroken, but I was still proud of myself because I made that whole costume myself, and I was just really proud of myself for kind of stepping out of my comfort zone to go in a cosplay instead of just as my little old self. But cosplay has become a lot to me. It's basically my life. I mean, besides being a side hustle, being able to give back as a costumer is incredible, and I love that I have this purpose because I started volunteering at the same time as my cosplay, so it was my way of like my mom getting off my back about like continuously buying fabric because I don't have money, especially as a college. I was just starting college when I was getting into it, so my mom was like, why are you buying all this fabric? Why are you making another costume? You should be saving your money. I was like, but I need to make this Princess Leia dress, so you don't understand. But now I do make money from it to counter the cost of it, especially now that I'm in the 501st and the costumes are really expensive. It's
just a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I'm like, do I eat lunch this week, or do I buy these metal parts that I need for my TIE pilot? So that's basically it.
So let's I'm a pretty practical person. So let's say you get an idea for a certain character that you want to cosplay as. How would you go from, hey, I want to cosplay as this character to, okay, I've got a complete costume ready to go?
I think one of the flaws of every I guess weaknesses of every cosplayer is the desire to literally make every costume on the planet. Like you'll watch something and you're like, I need to make this. I need to make this costume now. And some ideas come and go, but there are some ideas that will stick with you. I know when I played Jedi Fallen Order and I saw second sister, you said it wrong earlier. Ninth sister is the bigger, the Hulk.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm not a true
I didn't
nerd.
want to correct you, but so
No,
That
all
was
good.
very graceful of you to say to let it slide and then bring it up later.
No.
Yeah,
it was not
I am
intentional.
elderly and infirm, and my brain don't work, so I appreciate it.
Honestly, I always get all the Inquisitors confused. Like, why can't they just go by names instead of numbers?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I saw her in, and at the time I was considering Seventh Sister. She's the one that you see in Rebels, Star Wars
Ah.
Rebels. But as soon as I saw Second Sister and her awesome cape, I was like, I need to make her. And that was, and I felt it in my very core. I was like, this costume I want to make. So it's kind of just like you know, when you
Are
want
you
to make
talking about the
something, you know.
Force? Wait, are you?
It's yes, you feel it in the Force. But the process is pretty. I think sometimes I spend, at least for me, I spend more time on the research than the actual construction sometimes, and it all depends on the cosplayer, the costumer, about how much how accurate you want to go. So because the video game was so new, the research part of it was actually very difficult because it's a video game. So but the basic process is just research for a lot of hours. I remember actually when I made that lake dress, it took 8 months of research and 3 months of construction.
Wow.
For me at least. It's different for everyone. But yeah, you do all your research, you try to figure out what kind of fabric or materials you need, and then you start sourcing it. A good way to go about it is to try and make a spreadsheet or something to figure out what your budget is going to be, which I tend to not do because I'm like, if I don't look at my bank account, then it doesn't count. Because sometimes when
If I
you
close
start,
my
like,
eyes, all my problems disappear.
exactly. Because sometimes when you start listing all the, you're like, wow, I should not be doing this costume. This is going to be very expensive. So
Oh no.
obviously you don't have to buy everything at once. You can source it over time. But that's how I do it. There's also a really great, so besides spreadsheets and stuff, there is actually a really great app called Cost Planner where you can put together in one project, you can put together all your reference images, all the items you need, like to buy and to make. And you can,
Don't mind me.
no, it's really awesome. And you can actually like track your progress and put how much time, and you can actually see at the end like how much time you invested and how much money you invested
Oh wow.
in this project, which can be like
The name of that one more time?
Cost Planner.
Cost planner.
Okay.
One word. It's a really great app. I love it. It's I actually like, I'm surprised it doesn't have more buzz because it's a really well-made app. It's very easy to use. So I highly recommend it.
There
Gonna
you go.
put that over there
Right on.
while it downloads.
Elena, how far are you along with your second sister?
She's been daunting. It's definitely really hard being in school at the same time and trying to do an internship and like with the costuming, because I feel like I think about it all the time. I'm like, oh, if I just had a job where like I work during the day and then I had my evenings free, it'd be great. But with school, it's like I'm doing these projects, like staying up all night, and then by the time I get to my cosplays, I'm like my creativity is so drained, and I'm just like, I don't want to work. I want to just play video games and watch TV. So she's been a very long-term project. But I do have like a lot of her, I call it soft parts, the like fabric part of her costume started. And then I have a friend who will be printing my helmet and armor parts. So this will be a summer
Oh
project.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot.
I was hoping by to have it done for Celebration, but unfortunately, I think that's not going to happen. And I don't know if Celebration's going to happen.
I don't think
either,
Celebration's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
So it's not going to be too bad of a loss if I don't get it done by the end of the summer. So
Yes.
she'll get done by the end of the year. I'm telling myself that now because it took I'm not even done with my TIE pilot. And I've been working on that for a year.
You're not done with that yet?
No.
I thought,
Like
why
I
did I
said,
think
it's
you
so-
were done with that?
I'm
Curly,
the
you sound so
worst.
disappointed.
I'm the worst. If
Well,
it-
she's been working on it for a long time.
on and off, on and off. It's hard for, like I said, because I the way I work, I need to block an entire day off to because it takes me a long time to like get into it, and then once I'm on a roll, I will go. But like I said, with school, I'm spending 10 hours of my day either in class, at work, doing homework, and then by the time I'm done, I'm like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to think. My brain cells are dead. Just throw on Clone Wars, throw on Sherlock.
Right.
Like I just want to be brain dead right now.
How much of your cosplaying, because one of the things that always gets me about it when I'm like, this is what I'm gonna do. Is I can follow a pattern, no problem. You give me A, B, C, D steps, done. I can create that thing. But when it comes to being like, I don't just run to Joann's and buy a pattern for, an Amidala. Like that just doesn't exist.
They should.
It should be a thing.
That's another thing with cosplay. You're reinventing the wheel almost every single time when you're going, especially with like Star Wars costumes. I've learned to Frankenstein. I call it Frankensteining patterns.
Sure.
It's not always successful. One of the problems is, as a costumer, is I learned through YouTube. I did not learn through a professional. A lot of times I actually resort to duct tape patterns, which is when you wrap yourself or a mannequin in saran wrap and then duct tape, and then you literally draw out the pattern, which actually works really well, except my mannequin is not my size, so sometimes it's not the best way to go about it. If you could do it on yourself, it's great, but my family is like, we don't want anything to do with this weird. They don't have the patience, and I don't like asking them, so I do it on my mannequin. I wish I knew how to pattern. I see people who just draft their patterns and stuff, like in the costuming world. I'm like, I'm so jealous.
Right.
Sometimes some of these people are very kind and they actually upload PDFs of their patterns. And I thank you so much to some of them, because they like the lake dress. I keep going back to that lake dress because that lake dress was a love-hate for me. It was a very grueling project. I lost a lot of sleep. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears on that dress, literally. The 8 months of research, a lot of it was just to figure out the pattern of that dress, because you can't just go to a store and buy a dress like that. It doesn't exist.
No.
So I honestly wish I can give more advice on it, but like I said, Frankensteining patterns, that's part of the research, is figuring out a pattern. You go on forums a lot of the times. There's RPF forums, or if you're looking into making a Star Wars costume, Rebel Legion or 501st forums are really great resources. It might be hard to sift through a lot of those threads, but you can find a lot of great resources from other people who are making the costume.
The Facebook groups are a big help too.
Facebook groups, now more than ever, I think Facebook groups are a little bit more reliable, just because you can get answers more instantly, because you can either search in a group or you can just type a stat to be like, hey, what did you use for this part of the costume? And people will be in the comments within a half hour
with moments. Yeah, absolutely.
It's really great. And there's actually costuming groups for almost any character you can think of now.
True.
Even outside of Star Wars, Mother of Dragons is a Daenerys costuming group. There's Spider-Man costuming groups. Those are more printed suits, but if you can think of it, there's probably a group for it on Facebook.
That's awesome.
So Carla, how did you guys meet?
So it actually goes back to the lake dress.
It's like an origin.
This damn lake dress.
I think I remember, I think it was on...
I think we were talking about this recently, and I was like, Carla, when did we meet? Because I can't remember. Because we were talking a lot on Instagram first.
I want to say it was through Instagram. I don't remember exactly how I found you, but I saw your pictures of the lake dress, and then I saw she's from New Jersey and whatever, and I was like, oh my God, we need this girl in the Rebel Legion. Right now, we need her. So I think I remember I messaged you. I was like, your lake gown is amazing. You need to submit it and join us. And we got to talking.
I think I was a member. Oh no, I wasn't a member yet. That's right.
Because you were at Rhode Island Comic-Con 2017 with your Leia, right? Because I remember you weren't approved then. But then I remember you were telling me when we were talking about the lake gown, you were like, oh yeah, I'm working on Princess Leia dress, right? I think you were working on that at the time.
I think I had it done, but I was fixing it because I had talked to a Rebel Legion member at Rhode Island Comic-Con, and she was like, oh my God, your dress is incredible. You should submit it. You just have to fix a couple things here, but it's pretty spot on. I was like, oh my god, thank you. So I was like, yeah, I'll fix it real quick,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah,
Because
but I remember-
I remember seeing the booth and being like, oh my god, this is so
Yeah.
cool. Like they have the end door, like the
bunker.
the bunker doors. They had, you know, stormtroopers everywhere, and I was like, oh, like so like overwhelmed because I had never heard of the 501st or Rebel Legion at the time. I was just like Star Wars, and I ran to the booth. And I was like, I have to talk to these people, and the girl there was praising my dress. I was like, oh, thank you, and yeah, and then I met Deveron base members later that month in my Leia again, and they were like solidifying recruitment for me, and that I think that's when I started talking to you.
Yeah.
You're like, I was the guy, I was the girl that was like stalking you on Instagram, you know.
I love you.
I love you.
And the reason why I think I've told you probably plenty of times, the reason why I haven't submitted that lake dress is because that was my first big sewing project. I had never really sewn before. Like I said, YouTube and everything. It's being held together with duct tape, safety pins, and who knows what else. Like it's just a mess underneath.
Underneath, right? Yeah.
I think it's amazing. So. But yeah, but we I think that's pretty
But
much
I
like
can't
the
remember
gist.
what was our first troop together? Like when did we actually meet? Because I cannot for the life of me remember that. And it wasn't even that long ago. It's been what, 2,
It
3
feels
years?
like it's been
Oh, it's been 3 years.
a while ago. Oh my
less than 3 years,
gosh.
but
Yeah. I would assume it would have been at a troop somewhere.
It's usually how it works. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know if it was at like
Maybe it was in line at like an Aldi or something.
Hey,
Well-
aren't you?
regardless, we have become super close in the past couple
That's
of
awesome.
years. I
Yeah,
would say
that's awesome.
so. We're
we're bun sisters.
yeah,
Oh,
That's so
Aw.
cute.
bud sisters. Because we're both Leias in like northern New Jersey area.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. You got to put a little jersey on that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you have a lot of cosplay outfits, right? So like how many is that? Like how's that closet look? What is that? Like normal,
Oh my
then all
God.
cosplay, or what's this look like?
It's a mess. So a lot of them are actually not. They don't take up too much room because I have a lot of printed suits.
Mhm.
I actually return some stuff if it's from Amazon. It's a little dirty secret. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that I love. I don't know what the like term would be, but I call it Amazon cosplay. So
Sure.
I will put together outfits, just like random Amazon clothes, and I'll put it together, and it's my cosplay. It's not like a costume I bought
Sure.
per se. A lot of the times I end up wearing the stuff only once for like an hour or two, and I'm never gonna need it again. So I'll return it because I don't. Obviously, if it's something that I've modified or if I really like dirtied it up, I'll keep it. But
Right.
a lot of this stuff, and I'll wear clothes underneath so I don't like sweat in it. But listen, cosplay is expensive. It all adds up. But
Girls got to eat. Girls
No
gotta
judgment.
eat.
No judgment.
I've ended up, I've actually gotten rid of a lot of my own clothes to make room in my closet, and then my mom has a closet in our guest room, and I've taken over half of it for my cosplay, and like I have cosplays shoved in all random parts of my room. I have like drawers with like suits shoved in there, and like they're everywhere. It's bad. I don't have a lot of room.
That's awesome. So can you tell us a little bit like about some of the opportunities that cosplay has opened up for you?
Oh man. So it's kind of a wild west, I have to say, as far as it's not taken seriously as an industry, or from like an industry aspect, but it is a way that people do make a living. So there are a lot of different opportunities you can get from it. Sponsorships, ambassador programs, brand deals. So I've gotten a lot of free stuff, which is nice, like to promote companies like contact lenses, sweatshirts, t-shirts, which is nice, especially the contact lenses, 'cause contact lenses are like $25 a pair.
Mm.
So when contact
Ouch.
lens companies reach out to me, I'm like, oh, what cosplay do I need? Like, do I need contact lenses for? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll sample these.
Right.
And all I have to do is just make a post in the contact lenses. So it's like a nice win-win.
Yeah.
Brand gets
Win-win. Right.
gets a little promo, and my followers get maybe a discount code or something.
Mhm.
I get I like to what is it called, archive all the like articles I get featured in too, which is really
Oh,
cool, even if
that's
it's
cool.
like, oh, really cool cosplays at New York Comic Con or something, and I
Yeah.
happen to be in it. I'll be like, oh yeah, I made it into this this article, here you go.
Right.
So getting my name out there, I guess. I've actually been using my platform to promote my art a little bit, but not too much, because my art account has never really like taken off the way my cosplay has. So now I'm using that to promote my art. I'm like, hey guys, I'm also an artist if you want to like
Check it out over here.
which people are pretty nice about, and it does help, which is
Yeah.
great. Trying to think what else. Networking, it's great. I've met a lot of really cool people. Great, like cool photographers that are like really big in the cosplay industry, like from LA, from wherever, and they'll like know who I am, and I'm like, oh my god, like it's so great to meet you. And big cosplayers too. It's
Yeah.
they'll like another thing, like they'll recognize you, and you're like, oh my god, you know me, like I'm no one compared to you. You're cosplay royalty. So yeah, and you get to meet a whole community of really cool
Right.
people
Yeah.
too. That's like another family for me.
Yeah.
Cosplay friends. Travel too. That's like I've gone to like some places that I never normally would have, but to go to a convention like Providence, Rhode Island. Like I'd never really go there, but for Rhode Island Comic Con I went, and I was like, oh, this is actually a really cool place. That's some of the
Nice.
things. But there is one opportunity that came up that I think you're going to ask me about as well, that has come out of my cosplay.
Yeah. Could you just start on how the Marvel Gwenpool deal went? How did that happen? And then kind of explain that all to the listeners if they're not familiar with that.
Yeah, so I got featured on the cover of Gwenpool Strikes Back issue number 5. This wasn't just a cosplay variant. They actually had me model as the official comic cover, which I didn't actually know about until later on.
Oh, cool.
So the producer for Marvel New Media reached out to me through email asking if I wanted to do it. Like if she was like, oh, like, would you like to be on the cover of the new Gwenpool comic? And I was like, the heck is this? I ignored the email because I thought it was a joke. And then a couple days later, I remember I was like, I don't even know what I was doing. I got another email from this lady, and she's like, hey, I was just wondering if you're still interested. I was like, wait, is this real?
What?
Is this legit? Because this woman literally was like, do you want to be on the cover of a Marvel comic? Like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So I
This
was
is a
like,
scam.
This
yeah?
is a scam. Right.
Yeah, I do. And I was still like, I was still like, I don't know, this doesn't seem real. But I was like, let me go with it to see what happens. So she had me sign an NDA and all that. I was like, okay, like, we'll talk about it. Like, and I'm still like not taking it seriously. And then she was giving me all the details. She's like, okay, so we'll pay you this much. We'll have a photo shoot in New York City. Be a really quick shoot, and then we'll let you know when the comic will hit the shelves. So it was a really like simple process. I met the producer. We set up like a date and stuff to go into the city. We went to Columbus Circle, and it was a really quick photo shoot. It was like an hour long. I remember I had to change into my Gwenpool costume at a Whole Foods store in like the bathroom. So I'm used to that stuff, but I could tell she was like, oh, this is kind of strange. But like we didn't think about it. I was like, oh, I could just change in a bathroom somewhere.
Right.
I've literally
it's like Superman, right? Superman in the telephone booth.
As a cosplayer, and even with like the 501st and Rebel Legion, I've changed in some really weird places. I literally changed in the middle of Rockefeller Center once. So like I had it was like a winter like holiday photo shoot, and I had to change into my normal clothes. I was like, I'll just change right here. I don't care. Just cover me with like the coat real quick.
Right. Yeah.
I have no shame. But it was a lot of fun. It was really great to it's really great to like know someone, and I'm like, oh, I have her number. Like this, and actually, she's a cosplayer herself too, which is really cool. She has helped kind of blend the world of cosplay into Marvel, the Marvel company, I guess is the way to put it. So all those shows like Marvel Becoming, all those like web series that they do with with cosplayers, that's all her. So she really pushed for
cool.
cosplayer
Yeah.
involvement in Marvel, and this comic book wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for her. At this point, I guess it's kind of a spoiler if you care or not, but the reason why they had me on the cover was because Gwenpool, so she exists in a dimension like ours, and then she gets thrown into a comic book world where superheroes are real and stuff, and she doesn't have any superpowers. She just is like, hey, I need to get a costume and do that. But the issue that I'm featured on, she comes back into the real world, and that's why they had me like represent that. So on the cover, I'm like sitting pouting because Gwenpool is sad that she's back in the real world and not in like a superhero comic world anymore. So it's something I tell people even now. It hasn't totally hit me yet that this happened. I know like years later, I'm gonna think back and be like, oh my God, I was on the cover.
Well, because I mean, when I saw that, I was like, wow, that is like the most amazingest thing, because it's just like, again, there's so many cosplayers out there, right? And you got to
of all people, me.
and you got to be picked.
And the
to be
reason
on a
why
Marvel cover, I was
picked was because of a really big. There's this really notable photographer named Jason LeBoy in New York City. He he had a lot of his work published for Marvel, or like he works for Marvel, and I know him, but I didn't think he knew who that guy was. But apparently, he recommended me because they were looking for someone. So when they told me that, I was like, he knows my name. So I think it's just me being starstruck like half the time, but but the experience itself was really cool, just having everyone be like, oh my gosh, like congrats. And it was really, really nice. I got to do a little signing at a local comic shop, and a lot of
That's
friends.
pretty legit.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I have a signing. Like
our whole garrison was like, sign it, sign it.
And then I remember
I'm
the
bringing
night
my trailer.
I remember the night the comic came out. I was coming home from a night class, and I looked like a bum. Like I go to my night class in like my hoodie, I'm like no makeup, and I was like, oh, let me swing by a few local comic shops. I want to pick up some copies, because when it comes to like you probably know this, when it comes to like a fifth issue of like a comic run, they print less of it. So comic shops may have maybe 3-5 copies of the comics. I was like, let me go around and like just buy up some comics, because the one thing Marvel wasn't like concrete about was whether or not they can send me some comics. They did end up sending me like 3 or 5, but I wanted to be sure I had some copies. So I went out that night like really late. I was like, what comic book shops are still open? Like I stopping in, there's like most of these places had no people in them, and I come in and I'm trying to be really discreet. Like I
got the hoodie up.
I didn't want to like toot my own horn. Like I just wanted to buy the copy and get the heck out.
You've got the Marvel disguise on, like baseball cap, hoodie,
the baseball
glasses.
cap and sunglasses. But,
that's not Captain America.
I remember the first one I walked into, the guy was like talking to one of like his coworkers, and he's like not paying attention to me at all. But when he's checking me out, he looks down, he looks up at me. I was like,
oh no.
He's like, oh my God, I saw you on Instagram. Like,
on the Instagram.
On the Instagrams. And he was all like freaking out. And he was like, oh, here, like he gave me, I think like I bought one and he like gave me the other copies for free. He was really nice. And then the next shop I went to, the guy wasn't as impressed when he realized it was me. But not the comic shop owner, but another patron had bought my comics for me. So everyone was like really nice for the most part, but it was kind of like a fun little experience, even though I wasn't trying to be like, hey, that's me on the cover, that they recognized me and they were like, oh my God, that's you. So it was a really, really cool experience. I joke that it was like the peak of my career, but like, how do you top that? No, like, I get to be on a cover of a Marvel comic. I got to like do something really grandiose now.
So, like last week we talked to kind of the difference between men and women in Star Wars, and how people are viewed not only in universe but outside of the universe, right? So how do you see that play out also in the cosplay world? Do you find there's still a little discrepancies, or do you feel like women are more prevalent in cosplay? How would you explain that? The good side and kind of the dark side of cosplaying.
The dark
Oh, that is
side.
that's definitely a very multi-layered
Yes, right. Can you answer that in 30 seconds? Thank you.
Yeah.
I won't go
We're cable
too into
TV,
it.
don't you know?
Yeah, I don't want to take up too much of your time. There is definitely like I said, it's the Wild West. It's an industry that is not taken seriously, but it is a very, very prevalent thing.
Yeah.
So I would say it is a female dominated industry because I don't know if I'm allowed to say like sex sells.
What?
That's just the way of that's the brutal truth of it. There are plenty of male cosplayers that are like, they have like notoriety and are figures in the community, but they stick out in some way. They're either like super crazy like prop makers, they're really talented like makeup art, like SFX makeup artists, like they or they have like great personality, so their content like exudes that. So they have to really try harder, I think, harder than female cosplayers. That's kind of just like the black and white way of looking at it. There's a lot of I don't even know how to put it. So it's funny because it is a female dominated industry, and like obviously the majority of the audience is male, but a lot of these guys are also like, oh, like she's selling her body on the internet and stuff, and it's like, what? Not really. Like so I can go forever on that, but I think because it is starting to be taken more seriously, that there's less of that now, because cosplay was not really a big thing 5-10 years ago. I think now it's become a little more mainstream, and people understand it more and do recognize it as a legitimate way of earning money, and that people do it in different ways. Some people are armorers and they're prop makers, and that they make money through commissions or tutorials and teaching people. And some people are what's the word, like public figures. They're streamers, they're basically like small celebrities, and people pay, maybe not always pay to see them. I know there are some cosplayers who are big enough that they can charge for like photo ops and stuff. So that's, I guess, just like that's like scraping the surface.
We'll have to add you on. We'll have like a whole series, okay? We'll just like
No, if I can add to that,
I have a lot of insight because I only have really been in this community for like a year and a half, like as a professional. And I could say I'm a professional because I have been paid now. So before I called myself an amateur.
You're not amateur, right? Yeah.
I'm not amateur status anymore.
Yeah.
I'm still learning a lot myself. There's a lot of drama, of course.
Of course, yes.
It always has to be a nice fair amount of drama.
Right.
I think that's with anything, really. But at the end of the day, it's enabled me to meet and connect with a lot of really great people.
Yeah.
So I'm very thankful.
Awesome. Aaron, you said you want to add something?
Yes. So I have very limited experience cosplaying. I have cosplayed as Agent 47 Hitman, and as Picard.
Cool.
Which, bald characters are only so few and far between. But what my experience has been is that cosplaying is kind of a way to disappear into a role as far as a guy goes. Like, you become like a different character, and it's almost like armor that you put on that you kind of hide from the world for a little bit. And I wonder what your experience with with kind of becoming another character is, if it's to kind of disappear or rather to be seen. And I wonder if that's a different kind of male-female dynamic to it.
I think it depends on the person. I tell myself that it is to become someone else, but I think I tend to gravitate towards characters that I see qualities that I have similar qualities with, or that I relate to. So Gwenpool is a really great example. She's a really goofy, nerdy character, and I'm kind of like that. So I think it's a way for me to be myself, but like times 10 sometimes.
Interesting.
Dr. Afra is another one I really love throwing her on. I've only actually worn her a few times, but I've had a lot of fun being Dr. Afra because I feel like I can relate to her really well too. She's kind of like this, not sassy, but she's a very quirky, clever character. But I don't know. I think it's a little bit of both sometimes. I think it really just depends on the character I'm throwing on. If I'm dressing up as Black Cat, I become a completely different person.
Interesting.
Because she's very, she's very cool, it's gonna be sexy. I don't consider myself like sexy, but I try my best to become the character that I'm dressing up as. And I think behind the like when I put up all that makeup and the wig and stuff, I do feel like I become someone else. So I don't know, actually. I don't know how to answer that. I think it really just depends on the person and who you're becoming. Because if you're becoming like a stormtrooper, if you're putting a bucket on, nobody knows who you are. You can be whoever the heck you want. I have noticed though, when I put on Spider-Gwen, I have a masked version of Spider-Gwen. And my friends have told me this too. My personality completely changes when I put on the mask. I become very like outgoing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm Spider-Gwen. Like I kind of like you see Deadpool cosplayers, like their energy. That's Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess in a way, it's a little bit of both for me.
Because we have a question in chat, and it says like, some wear masks versus makeup. How easy is it for each? And you kind of answered that already. That was from Ro from Scarif Scuttlebutt. Like you kind of answered that. And like Heather, I think you're gonna go there. Like when you put on that mask, it's like you're a totally different person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when I put the Jawa on, I feel like all bets are off. I mean, Carla, you and I, we haven't trooped together yet, or we haven't really hung out in person, but I feel like Todd and Aaron can attest. I'm kind of a shy little kitten sometimes, or I'm hesitant, and I deal with some of my own personal anxieties. What? But I do have this mischievous kind of streak, but it doesn't come out unless I'm pretty comfortable in a situation. So when I put the Jawa on, I mean,
did you like move trash cans or something like that?
I did. I stole trash cans. There was a charity bowling event that I went to, and I stole somebody's shoes, and I put them in a different part of the bowling alley.
You're doing it right. You're doing it.
No, I mean,
I think what it is with that is you're cutting off like the connect that it's you. That maybe some of us like worry about what maybe other people think of us a lot.
Absolutely.
And I'm like that. So when you put on the mask, you become anonymous, and nobody knows who you are. So you can just become someone else for a little bit, and you get to tap into those other like aspects of yourself that maybe you don't ever let out. So I think that's what happens to a lot of people when they kind of become anonymous.
Right. Right.
Yeah, my whole point with that is that like I'm not trying to psychoanalyze or stereotype or anything. I'm just genuinely curious if men and women cosplay for different reasons, and if that has anything to do with either trying to hide themselves within a role or to be seen and like put on display as a role. And maybe it's not really up to the cosplayer, but more to the particular character that they're trying to become.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, again, let's compare like you're putting on, if I put on a stormtrooper kit, or if I went out dressed as comic book version of Starfire.
Right.
Two totally different costumes, and I'm going to be looked at very differently in those two different costumes. And it's a matter of, I guess, what you're comfortable with and how you want people to see you. Cosplay is a very broad there's a very broad way of looking at it. You can define it in so many different ways, and why people do it, and for what purpose, and what they're trying to get out of it. So you can go dive into it forever, honestly.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And it's a slippery soap, right? I mean, some people are just doing it for fun, but like there's a business, and you just said it, there's a side hustle too. Like, so if somebody sees you on some, Comic-Con and some photographer likes you, I mean, those things tend to spread into other things, and so
Yeah.
there are opportunities there, but it's this weird thing where, obviously you kind of said it, like there's things that there's reason why some things are on the cover and some things are not, and so that also tends to push things, in one direction or other. And obviously with like for me, I don't look like Han Solo, I don't look like Luke, and so that's why I've always gravitated to somebody that's like kind of a faceless character, because I could be that person, I could be a stormtrooper. I'm no different, but like with with girls, I feel like if you kind of look like that person, it's easier to become that person in a sense, and so and so sometimes obviously if you look like that, or you put on a wig and you look like Gwen Stacy or MJ or something, I mean, like those things kind of transform you into that role, so
Definitely, yeah.
yeah.
And
All
I
right,
wonder if I would feel differently about it if I were to put on like a masked role. Like the cosplays that I've done before, they've all been like face roles.
face characters, yeah.
But if I do like an unmasked role, because that's another thing to unwrap, is like most female cosplay roles, it seems, are unmasked, where there's quite a few male roles to choose from that are masked. And I wonder if that feeds into it too. Oh, it's so weird.
Like I said, you can go
Yeah.
on and on, honestly.
Yeah.
And some people have no problem cosplaying characters that they don't have a likeness to. Like if they don't look like the character, that's not going to stop them. And some
Sure,
people
yes.
only cosplay characters that they think that they look like. So
Mhm.
it's all about the cosplayer. It's all about
Yeah.
the individual. And
Yeah.
I know plenty of girls in the community who actually gravitate towards like masked characters and to keep themselves like undercover. But I have to agree, there
Interesting.
are more guys that do that.
Mhm.
Like Deadpool cosplayers, Robin,
Yeah.
Batman, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
I see a lot of those cosplays, like as far as like the male side of the community.
Yeah. Okay, so one last question. If people want to get into cosplay, what would you tell them?
Well, first I would say, if you've ever even considered it, do it. It was
Okay.
something that was an idea that I toyed with for a while, and once I finally took the plunge, or took the dove into it, I was really happy that I did. Figure out what your thing is, and by that I mean, do you want to make money from it, or do you want to do it for fun? Do you want to just go to conventions? Cosplay is a huge investment if you want to do it on a more professional level, so you have to commit to that. You can't really juggle two different identities with that, I think. So for me, I was struggling with figuring out what I wanted out of it for a while, and once I decided like this is something I do want to invest into, and put I had to. That's why it's really hard even while I'm in school and working, because a lot of these people who do it full time, they do it like full time, like
Full time, right? Yeah.
they invest all their time into this, and that's why they're so successful. So for me, it's something that I want to do, so I'm taking it a little bit at a time and not going too crazy with it. But just figure out what you want out of it, and what direction you want to go in. Do you want to be an armor? I mean, you can do whatever you want, but like it is easier when you have a direction. And yeah, don't ever let other people dictate what you should do. That's another thing that I had to learn for myself, because I tended to kind of listen to the opinions of others, and people would say like, oh, you shouldn't do this, or you can't do this, and I'd be like, you know what, I can. So it's cliche, but do whatever your heart desires, whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy. Don't don't feel pressured by the community. Can be toxic.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately, it could be very supportive, but it can also be very toxic. As far as like body image and the characters you choose, and you do have to be careful about not doing something that will offend someone. Obviously, that's just common sense, really. But other than that, if you're on the heavier side, don't feel like you can't show some skin. Like whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you want to do, go for it. That's my advice.
Very awesome. Great. Well, you answered very good on all those questions.
I'm sorry. I love to talk, so if I went over time,
You're our guest. You're the main attraction. So please,
Right,
thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Thanks, Elena.
Thanks for having me. So much fun.
Yeah. All right, Heather, we got some news.
We do have news. I know I'm like so enthralled in the conversation. I forgot all about the news.
Oh
Probably
my
don't even remember.
God.
I don't even remember what the teasers
This is why we have an outline. So it's
That's
like,
right. Focus.
Stay on target.
stay on the break.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yes. So, news of the week. First item, we have months of coordination and planning have taken place. But we are happy to announce the Red 5 Network. That's right. You heard it here first. Or maybe not. I don't know. The Red 5 Network. This is a collective content of creators whose enjoyment and celebration of being Star Wars fans includes respectful discussion, thoughtful debate, and honest takes on our favorite franchise from that galaxy far, far away.
Ooh.
So member podcasts have practiced that through their individual shows and will continue to foster family, community, individual voices. The goal is to expand the listener pool by reaching out to new followers and supporting each other's channels through collaboration and inclusion. So who's part of the Red 5 Network? I know is your next question.
That was our next question.
I knew that it was. I felt it in the force.
Ooh.
So let me share with you who those people are.
All right.
We have the Scarif podcast, who we
Yes.
love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Jedi Temple Archives podcast.
Yep. Rob. Yep.
The Black Squadron podcast. Star Wars Through the Ages.
Oh,
And then-
we have to do the hand wave too?
You do well because it's through the ages.
Right.
Oh man. And then we have retired
No, that's Red 5. So Red 5 is retired because
not available.
yeah, Red 5's not available. Right.
Red 5 is no longer available. That seems really sad.
Yeah.
All right. We have Conversations, the Galactic Gal Astic podcast. I was trying to say it, or it said gal really well.
The Galactic
You're doing great.
Podcast.
Thanks. The Coruscant Radio Underground.
Ooh,
I love that.
very cloak and dagger.
I know, right?
Yes.
The University of Coruscant,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good old. Yeah.
and then a blank space, and then a blank space, and then WSTR.
Red 12,
Hey!
baby. Red 12. Yeah.
I clapped because I knew what it was.
So I'm guessing we've got 2 open spots. Is that what that means,
Kind of, yeah. So every
Todd?
every network, every podcast has a call letter, just like Rogue Squadron.
Right.
And so we're Red
right.
12.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
there's a couple
God.
openings, but again, the whole idea here is that we've already been kind of doing this naturally. It's just more kind of official under this. So we like to collaborate with each other and do, podcasting together. So just trying to help each other out. And it's a great community and we want to keep that and foster that. So that's why we're here in the Red 5 Network. So we're super excited.
Can't wait to get
do
my
that.
t-shirt.
No!
Our big old happy podcast family.
Yeah, that's right. So we're super excited.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then
Yay!
Todd, since you've sort of been kind of our chief person, are we going to get any kind of big announcement on the socials about this?
Yeah, it just like literally happened right before our show launched. So
Stop it.
What?
Yes, yeah. As
Fresh.
we're preparing, it was already happening behind
We're
the scenes.
famous now.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, so
Well, that's exciting. So, all right, well, check it out and let's have some respectful, healthy conversations together.
so yeah, we're super excited.
That's really cool. Okay. Well, I have other news from slate.com. Is everybody sitting? Okay, great.
Yeah, we are. Yes.
I think.
Yes. You can see us, Heather. Yes.
I know
we're
it's true.
sitting.
I'm just, the star,
I could be standing. I mean,
you are kind of short.
Young Skywalker.
Yeah.
The headline reads, "The Star Wars prequels were a joke. Then came the Clone Wars."
Oh,
Big oof.
Are we all okay? Everyone breathing? Everyone's
Ugh.
breathing?
Yeah.
okay. I think I can go on.
All right.
Yeah.
Midichlorians, clunky dialogue, intergalactic trade disputes, that electrifying John Williams theme with the all chanting. Oh, but there's also Jar Jar.
Oh,
Just don't want to forget about him.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh.
The legacy of our prequel trilogy is littered with missteps and missed opportunities. Instead of a good man seduced by the dark side we were promised, the movies gave us a precocious messiah with a bowl cut who grows into a deeply troubled teen and then barely gets in a few heroics before, being encased in his famous black armor.
Mm.
So there's that. But this week, as mentioned already, the Star Wars Clone Wars animated series that was canceled and then revived, thanks fandom community, offered a different set of words and images to remember that era by. Though it launched in 2008 with a goofy movie,
It was kind of goofy. Yeah.
Can't deny that. No.
Yeah,
There we go.
With stinky Jabba's son, I mean,
I forgot
it's
it.
fine.
oh my
Stinky.
god.
I love that little hutlet.
Right, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
And you have like Zero as like the cross-dressed hut, I mean, it was great.
Is he
It was
like
great.
the uncle or
Yeah,
I don't even know.
Yeah.
The weird,
The-
crazy uncle.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't remember
Okay.
the relationship.
Yeah.
Oh man. The Clone Wars, however, got past its growing pains to become a vital bridge between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, paving over the movie's plot holes, fleshing out characters, taking the time to explore the nooks and crannies of George Lucas's richly imagined galaxy. Anik, who's now voiced by Matt Lant. I'm done. Stop.
Matt. Just
Matt.
Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Lanter.
Lanter. I was like, Lanter? It just didn't sound right in my head. He received some much needed development. His willingness to turn on his order, commit atrocities, made more tragic, more believable, showing deep rooted corruption, basically becoming the villain we all knew he'd become. Dun dun dun.
Layers, man. Layers.
So it seems like what this article is saying is
Yes.
that it took like the kind of raw like lump of clay that the prequels were and shaped it into like this fine bit of pottery that the Clone Wars became.
I love that.
Yep.
I honestly, when you first read the article, I thought that they were hating on the Clone Wars for a second. The way they worded it, I was like, oh, they did not just come. They just not come from my show. I was really worried for a second. I was like gearing up. I was like, roll up the
All right, here we go.
Those are fighting words.
I mean, it is the slate. Let's be real, but no, it seems what they're saying is that the prequels came, they kind of disappointed a lot of people, but the Clone Wars kind of took that raw material and formed it into something like much better.
Yes.
And the weird thing is, it's also a masterclass for Dave Filoni. So
Yes.
George Lucas is in the Clone Wars. He is but he's teaching his Padawan Dave Filoni on everything Star Wars, and then that is spilling over into what we're seeing with the Mandalorian, and I think it's working. So I think that is what the beauty of the Clone Wars is. And this last season, especially the 4 arc here at the end, it's everything. I mean, it is like everything you want from Star Wars and more is in those 4 episodes, and you'd be stupid not to watch it. So
I wouldn't ask for any other person to tell the story. And I don't know if you guys got to watch that new Disney Gallery documentary. I didn't get to finish it, but I got to see Dave Filoni's part about directing Mandalorian and getting a little insight on just who he is as a person. Like, I know who he is, but just to get in like a little more insight through the documentary, it's like this guy knows what he's about. Like,
right. Yeah.
he
Right.
knows Star Wars. He's not just some rando who came in. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I guess I'm gonna direct this. Like, he knows.
Not some hack fraud.
I'm not coming for anyone. I'm just saying. Dave Filoni has done his homework, so he knows.
Yes.
He knows what
It's like if you don't go to George, you go to Dave.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you said,
here's the coolest thing. I'm going to steal a little bit of that documentary or the series, whatever. He goes, when he's doing the interview with George, he goes, well, if this might not pan out, but he knows, he's like, I'm going to be in line with Revenge of the Sith, and I can out nerd any of these people. I talked to George Lucas and shook his hand, so like he's already thinking at that level, like he's like, I'm gonna out nerd these guys that are gonna be sitting at Revenge of the Sith with me because so I think
where he is now.
I think that's awesome.
All right, well, there you go.
A show by Star Wars nerds for Star Wars nerds.
I do want to state for a proper newscaster here that this article was put out just today. And in my scrolling through the article, while I've not read all of it, I started to read the very last paragraph, and I fear that there may be some spoilers involved. So if you do go to slate.com to check out this article, the Star Wars prequels were a joke, then came the Clone Wars, you may want to make sure that you're fully caught up on all of your Clone Wars watching.
You've been warned.
Oh no, Heather.
So I read like a sentence.
Did you read something?
I may
Heather,
have.
it's been out since 2008.
Listen.
I don't know what spoilers.
It's okay. You'll get to feel all the trauma once you get to
Yeah.
it.
I cry every time that kid from Remember the Titans can't play football. This probably won't ruin it either. So I think we'll be fine.
You'll be okay.
Woo.
Okay.
Woo.
All right. But okay, who's ready for more Star Wars?
Always.
Yes, please.
Okay. So, StarWars.com announces that this Academy Award winner person is going to direct and co-write a new Star Wars feature film for theatrical release.
I like that.
Who is it, do you ask? Who is it?
Oh.
I don't know how to say his name.
I do.
Taika Waititi.
I was like, I could either butcher this and try to play it off or just be honest.
It took me 6 months to figure it out if it makes you feel any better.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And Oscar nominee Christy Wilson Carnes will co-write this screenplay as well. So basically, I think this was also just announced today.
It
was
like breaking
indeed
news this morning.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So of course nothing's really been released.
You know what? It's so hard to get excited for this because we still supposedly got this Ryan Johnson thing happening. We got some other movies being picked up. I mean, it's great that StarWars.com actually reported this because I'm sick of seeing Hollywood Reporter or TMZ.
We got this covered.
Yeah, until we actually, because again, we had the Game of Thrones brothers hanging out, and they left, and we've lost
My
you know,
God.
Colin Trevorrow. I mean, it's just
Dropping like
it's
flies.
it's messy until we get like this is the actual time
Yep.
frame and a little plot point. It's hard to say, oh yay. I mean, again, he's directed, you know,
Yep.
2 episodes of Mandalorian.
Mandalorian?
So
Yeah, I was gonna say he's
He
definitely
was in it.
proven himself as a director.
yes,
With
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys have seen Jojo Rabbit. That was a recent one.
Oh,
I
I
think.
want to see that.
It was really, really good. Like after seeing Ragnarok, I was like, "Whoa, this guy! I have never heard of him before, but I
Yeah.
love this." And and then all the other stuff I've seen of his, I was like blown away. So I have total confidence in him, and I think that whatever he ends up doing, I think he'll do a good job. So
right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I know he's established and he can do well. It's just, again, what's that material and where we're going is very, you know, are we going the past? You know, are we going High Republic, Low Republic, Middle Republic, Old Republic? You know, like, where are we going? Or are we going in the future?
I forgot
Until
that they
that's
called
like,
it that High Republic. I was
Yeah.
like so confused when it was first announced. I was like, "What the heck is that?"
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Luminous or is it High Republic? Whatever, you know. I just feel like you need to basically tell the people this is the time era we're going to be in, and then let it simmer and don't throw out, oh, this director is going to be this, and who cares? Like, just set a date, give us a time period, and let it simmer, because the more you kind of show your hand, then that's where we get into this weird toxicity, and it gets really ugly really quick. And then like, oh, they had creative differences and now they're off.
Now we have to reshoot half the movie.
Right. Solo.
Yeah.
Todd,
Yeah,
question though. Do you think that, like, if The Last Jedi wasn't so controversial with Rian Johnson, do you think like people would care as much about who was helming what project? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I don't think it's Rian Johnson's fault. I think they didn't plan it, man.
the sequel trilogy.
There's multiple people telling a story.
Yeah, right. So, and then you hear the deep dark secrets that, like, for episode 9, JJ didn't even consult the story group. So then why do you have the story group? And why isn't Kathleen Kennedy like saying, JJ, you got to work with the story group so these wayfinders can be holocrons and would be good? And, you know, like,
that was the most annoying thing, because I was like, oh, look, a holocron. It's like, oh, well, actually,
it's a wayfinder.
It's called the Wayfinder. Yeah. I was like, oh, let me know something.
Yeah. You know, it's like, or, okay. All right, I'm gonna get on this tangent. You bring Nine Nub back, right?
Oh.
You see him in Force Awakens. Okay, great. And he's on the Millennium Falcon somehow at the end of Last Jedi. And you have Lando, who flew with him in Return of the Jedi, and they don't meet up. So why do you have this side character that you brought in just for fan service, but then you don't have that moment where they meet up? You know, like 5 seconds.
Maybe they had a fight.
I'll tell you, Todd.
Tell me, Aaron.
Merchandising.
No, merchandising.
Merchandising, yeah.
I liked Heather's explanation. They had a fight.
Yeah.
They had a fight.
Falling out right before
Somebody tweeted something about somebody.
Well, and then
I will say
aggressively.
Yeah, exactly. And then, and you know, again, like, you bring back Wedge Antilles for 1 second shot.
Yeah.
You know, and
Great shot, Lando.
Great shot, Lando. But then you don't see them connect at the end of the celebration, and his son, Snap Wexley, dies, and they don't even mention that.
Yeah.
You know,
He's
like,
just like
whatever. You know, I'm sorry.
It seemed like a lot of little missed opportunities, like all along the way.
Here's all you had to do, and you would have saved Raz. Well, there's a lot of things you had to do, but you have the huge armada of ships come up. In the book, they call out the ghosts. They call out all these other ships. You do 10 cockpit views, and they're like, that's so-and-so. That's Sev from Battlefront 2. I like that guy, or whatever. You just show them. You show,
I was really hoping they would show Hera. I was so disappointed.
yeah, show it. You have the ghosts.
The ghost is in
Or at least
everything.
her
Show
voice.
her.
At least
Right.
get like Vanessa Marshall in there to do the voice, you know?
Just show them, just
That's like
show-
with the Jedi.
Well,
talking
yeah.
I was just
that-
gonna say.
the Jedi.
I mean,
right.
I was still happy to get that like, and especially that they brought in like Kanan and Ahsoka for that.
Yes.
But like, if you could see the Force ghosts, oh, how cool would that be?
But this is why we
Yeah.
have things like Clone Wars and Mandalorian, and we
Exactly.
move forward with Star Wars
And books.
so
Nice save, Heather.
Nice save, Heather.
All this
She would-
supplemental material to like patch up all the things that the movies have done. It's like, oh, we're sorry, but
back,
here.
back to the main point. Just plan it out. Have these directors can deliver. We know they can deliver things. That there's no question of the talent. And yeah, again, like even on the Rise of Skywalker, the talent that is there is amazing. But in order to make that all work, you have to have a vision. And again, under George, even though it might be a little somewhat scattered, it's his vision, right? And so if you want to continue this and have people like us love it, because we're like the nerds of the nerds, it's just you have a cohesive story and you plot that out, and you're gonna be winning life, right? Even if it goes in a weird direction, kind of to Carla's point, like if I don't think Rian Johnson's, it was controversial because it went different, but again, some people are complaining that The Force Awakens was, A New Hope 2.0, right? The plot's the same. It's just the plot, right? So, but if you make it just a little bit different and you go into different categories, but it's laid out, then you have something that everyone can kind of pick and choose what they love, instead of like this stuff, and then you got all these YouTubers going like, "Oh, this is why
This
Star
is
Wars
the worst movie ever." Why? Here's my opinion.
Right.
I will say, with Taika Waititi, directed one of the best Mandalorian episodes, made a movie about a boy in the Hitler Youth that was somehow like really like heartfelt and hilarious. So like the talent is definitely there. I just wonder if Disney's going to like let him have the creative control and like the single kind of vision that he needs to make a really good Star Wars film. Because otherwise I'm just tired of the kind of movie that feels like it was made in a laboratory
Where they're
and
playing it safe.
was like,
Yeah.
and it's like written and directed by a committee, and it's just like,
Kind of like the clones.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're never
It's like,
honestly.
let's
you're,
take
you're
some
never
take some
right,
risks.
Right. You're never gonna get another Star Wars, right? You're never gonna get that way out there.
It's
Not
lightning in a
this-
bottle.
Yeah, it's lightning in a bottle. You're not going to get that, but you can continue that on in this franchise. But you have to also have just that kind of laid out a little bit. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's one movie. It's not a trilogy. Hopefully it's
Right.
not like a part of some kind of massive, weird like ecosystem. It's like, oh, we're going to have the movie, video game tie-in, and here's the board game, and here's the novelization. It's like, no, we don't need that. Just tell a small story within the Star Wars universe, and we'll all be happy. That's what The Mandalorian proved was possible. Like, more of that, please.
Yes, please.
excellent.
Where are we at?
Rant over.
Okay.
Where are we at? Where are we at?
Come back to me,
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
All right, I
yeah.
got one more item for you.
Yeah.
This was a fun little throw in at the very beginning part of everything, just behind the scenes podcasting. So, fun fact for those who have Spotify.
Okay.
Okay.
Spotify has official music playlists for your favorite Star Wars character.
Oh my God.
So you're going to go to Spotify, you're going to search for the official Star Wars user account, and then you're going to follow them. And then they have all of these public playlists, and like they're specifically for each character that then connects different music, like certain genres and things of that, to their corresponding character.
This is so weird.
Right? So like
And
I think
who was our source for this news item there, Heather?
was it Carla or Elena or both of you?
Well,
Were you
I
both
heard it from
excited?
Elena.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right
Elena.
beforehand.
Elena.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, because like, and they were joking about like Kylo's got his like emo music, and then C-3PO's all like classical and like
Instrumental.
instrumental
Yeah.
and
Good old
What
man.
was
Vader better be all metal because that's
It is. It's
Yeah.
all,
yeah.
Pantera, Metallica, just hardcore
Hell yeah.
stuff.
What was Yoda? Like lo-fi beats or something?
It was weird, like instrumental. It's like instrumental, but it's not necessarily lo-fi beats, but it's kind of like that chill music.
Yeah.
like
man.
pop.
Orson Krennic is all like English punk bands. Which
Yeah.
Fantastic.
this is amazing.
That's fantastic.
And like K2SO is all like weird like glitch hop.
dude, I'm in. I'm gonna be listening to this
Bandos
stuff.
was all like, what was it? You said Pony by Genuine was on.
Yeah, that was the one.
Beyonce, like he's got a vibe going.
That's awesome.
oh man. So regardless of whether or not you love things or you hate things or you're all about the controversy of Star Wars, bring a little humor into your life with the Spotify Star Wars playlists, because that just makes me happy. And I have, in one episode, I have gone to Spotify and followed this. I have downloaded an app about cosplaying. This has been a whirlwind of an episode, friends.
You're catching up.
Yeah.
Getting there, people. Getting there. So that's it. That's all I got.
Awesome.
Oh,
Right.
wait, that's not true.
Oh.
I have a surprise news item.
What?
What?
Surprises? Oh
My
my
friend
God.
doesn't- My friend needs a home.
Yeah.
Little baby
Yeah.
Yoda.
Well,
Adopt the child.
yeah, we wanted to make it 3,500 on May the 4th, right? It was a good goal.
It's a good goal.
And we
We tried
got-
so hard.
as
and we got
of
so
this
far.
recording, as this very second, we're at 300 or 3,333. 33333.
That's kind of a good.
I was gonna say, that's a
Ooh.
cool number.
That's a good
cool
omen.
number.
All
Right?
right.
We're-
Play the
All
lottery.
right.
So I think we'll probably do something maybe tomorrow for Revenge of the 5th.
Oh.
Maybe we'll do that. We'll do a little giveaway
I like that.
for Baby Yoda. So stay tuned for that. We'll do that for sure.
But if you're a scout trooper, you don't get to put him in a bag and punch him.
We're on to your games.
That's the only. That's like
we
the
see
star.
you.
That's like the only stipulation
Yeah.
in that prize, right?
See
Yeah.
you.
So we'll do
So-
something on the socials tomorrow for that. But we're still want to get to 3,500.
Oh, totally.
So, yeah, and yeah, we'll give away some more stuff because like Carla's trying to get rid of some pops, man. So
Please take them. Please.
as you buy more,
I know.
Only the Leia ones.
yeah,
Only Leia. But
Yeah.
did you see all the new Baby Yoda ones?
I mean, yes.
I know they're so good.
I may
Oh
or
my
may
God.
not have bought one. with the little sippy cup.
With the super
Oh.
I couldn't
little
not
bone broth
buy it.
bowl.
Okay, next episode, Carla's like, "Hi, I'm Carla. I love Pop Funkos."
Can I go on a mini
right
rant?
back to where I started.
Aaron, you have a mini rant?
I have a mini rant.
Oh no,
I really love Baby Yoda, the
Yeah.
child. I
Mhm.
really do. And I really appreciate that, Mr. Favreau did not like pimp him out to all the, toy manufacturers before
Right.
the series came out.
Yeah,
And it felt really special. Felt really cool. But then, he showed up on all the memes everywhere.
he's
And
on
then
every
all the
meme.
merchandising
Yeah, yeah.
everywhere. And it just feels ruined. It feels like Baby Yoda has become like on the same level as like those like Facebook minion memes.
Oh my
And
god.
it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, you deserve so much better than this.
I have to say, I
That's
kind
it. That's
of
my rant.
feel like that too sometimes. But when I go and rewatch The Mandalorian, the magic of seeing that cute little face reminds me how much I love that little
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe the internet is oversaturated with all the merch and stuff, but the
Yeah.
the source of this
Yeah.
little child still has that.
Yeah,
It's too much of a good
magic.
thing.
Yeah, the magic of Baby Yoda is it literally brought Star Wars back together. Like,
It
Yes.
really
Yeah.
did, and brought in new fans. I heard a lot of parents say that like they couldn't get their kids into Star Wars, but The Mandalorian has changed that.
Oh.
yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I mean, yeah,
And-
we had an crappy old Yoda puppet in Dagobah, and we loved him. So this guy's cute drinking bone.
I mean, I
broth,
love
you
him.
know?
I love my little wrinkly boy.
Aw. And there's a
Okay.
cynical part of my being that wants to be like, this is the most like perfectly crafted kind of,
Like a porg.
like most marketable
Yeah.
like symbol you could ever come up with.
Yeah.
But then I'm just like, oh, I don't care. It's the cutest thing ever, and I want him to live and have a happy life
Dude,
and
when
have a
when
father, and
yeah, no, when George Lucas is holding Baby Yoda, though, that's when my
Oh.
heart broke into a million pieces. I'm like, that is amazing. So
Yes.
Did you guys see I shared on Facebook, was it last night? It was like, oh, don't forget on May 3rd to leave out your chalky milk and chicky nuggets for Baby Yoda.
Do you know what I had for lunch today?
chicken nugs.
Chicky nuggies.
Chicky nuggies.
Oh yeah,
today.
chicky nugs.
So actually,
like,
funny
this
quick
is great.
story. I got featured on the Welch's Fruit Snacks official Instagram today with my Baby Yoda because I tagged their at Katsucon. I put together like a really crappy Baby Yoda cosplay. So I was walking around with
It's
Welch's Fruit.
wonderful.
No,
Thank
it's not
you.
crappy. That's like the
It's
greatest thing
good.
ever.
Amazing.
Well, so I was carrying around Welch's Fruit Snacks, and I was like, let me just tag them in
Oh.
my Instagram post, and they saw it, and they messaged me like, hey, can we feature you on May the 4th? I was like, heck yeah, you can. So yeah, that's cool.
Oh my gosh, there you are.
It's not Marvel, but hey, I'll take
Hey,
it.
see, that's
You're
when
so
I
cute.
You broke
You
Aaron,
broke me.
Elena.
okay.
You
When I
completely
said-
broke me.
When I asked you about opportunities,
Oh.
and you did not bring up Welch's Fruit Snacks, I'm very disappointed.
I am now an ambassador for one.
Oh,
It was just one. It's just a one post.
you better have that
Oh
on
my
your
gosh,
tombstone, or I
Elena.
swear to something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
wow.
See, Baby Yoda brought it all back, man. And okay, here,
Whew.
last question about Baby Yoda before we end this thing.
Always.
Do we want to find out his name? I say we don't find out his name.
No, please, God,
No.
no.
It's just gonna be weird. We'll name him Jeff or something.
You're right.
Shit.
I just
Like
want to
they-
see what his
My
like
name's
bigger
Jeff.
purpose is. That's what's gonna really stop it. Because that's
Jeff,
what's gonna
he who lives
distinguish
at
him
home.
from the porgs. Because the porgs had no point. That's,
Yes.
I'm sorry. Like that's the
Yeah.
one thing I can't get on board with ever. Like I'm not.
No,
I
they
try
had
not
they
to
had a
hate on
point.
anything
They had to
in Star
cover up
Wars.
the real birds. That's the whole point of the porgs.
I guess, but at least like even now, Baby
Uh.
Yoda has like some bigger like with the scientists where he had the
Mm-hmm.
clone like the Kaminoan whatever that patch that
Camino.
Thanks, Dad.
That's how
Oh,
Jocasta said it. She's like Camino.
whew.
love it.
I will say, I had two requests for like the finale of The Mandalorian, that they not reveal his name and that they not reveal his face.
Yeah.
But of course, they revealed
Wow.
both, but for very good reasons. So I'm
Yeah.
okay with that.
Yeah.
I really hope they don't do that for the child.
Yeah.
I really hope they don't.
I
We will
really
see.
like, yeah, because like, I just like how it's very generic, and I want to keep
Yes.
it that way. I think it would be,
Yeah.
I mean, I want to find out a little bit more about his backstory, but I really like the idea of just him, because in pop culture, he's Baby Yoda and will never change Baby Yoda, even if they, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's Baby Yoda. It's just what it is, you know? So,
Exactly.
I mean, when you look, like, when you like type in a GIF for baby, it's like Baby Yoda's like right there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Yeah.
it's in pop culture now, and it will never change if they call him Jeff or George. It's Baby Yoda, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
All right, Carla.
Woo! I don't want this to end, guys.
I know,
but
right?
I know. We're having too much fun.
I know.
Yep, this is great.
it's
But
it's
just
a
like the Clone
little-
Wars, all good things must come to an end.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening to another episode of WSTR Galactic Public Access. You can check us out on the socials at WSTR Media, all lowercase. And we want to hear from you. So comment, tweet, and rate us on Apple Podcasts. If you give us a 5-star rating, we'll throw in some swag for you. Also retweet or email us a screenshot of the rating and we will read it on the next podcast. Email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. You could also leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR, which is also 630-557-9787.
Do we even know the letters like on the phone numbers now? I mean, I don't think that's a thing anymore.
No, they're
If
still
you have
there.
like a touch tone dial system.
Yeah.
For those people that want to use a rotary phone, you can call us at.
Love it.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, leave us a voicemail and we will play it on an upcoming episode. You can also catch our back catalog of episodes at podcast.wstrmedia.com. Go check out our merch store at store.wstrmedia.com and our Patreon as well. And that is patreon.com/WSTRmedia. And also, thanks to all of our viewers hanging out in the YouTube chat. We always like to see the
Hey.
comments and conversation that's going on. And Elena, where can everybody find you on the socials?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Elena_Strikes. It's ELENA. And I'm also on Facebook as well at Elena's Cosplay. They won't let me change my name.
It's Elena what?
It's Elena's Cosplay.
Oh.
So that was like my starting name, just
right.
to like, and then like now I want to change it to Elena Strikes, but they won't let me. So I'm stuck.
Is there
Oh,
what's
no.
the meaning behind strikes?
Honestly, I don't know. It just came to me one day because my last name starts with S and I wanted to keep my actual name. And I was like, oh, that sounds kind of good. Elena Strikes. And now I could always make I make jokes like Elena Strikes Back. And like, it just works well, I think.
It works. It's punny. It's punny. You know.
It just,
It's
there's
a good
nothing,
stage name.
nothing creative behind it
Right.
at all.
All right. Cool. And next week is episode 171. We have our guest, Dave Coletta. Am I saying that right? I think so. But apparently he's a Lego master.
He's legit.
So...
On the Lego Master show?
No, sorry.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Your face says it all.
Oh, no, but he's done these cool like alphabet starships that are fantastic from A to Z, and
Whoa.
go check them out. Yeah,
Cool.
fantastic.
So we're looking forward to that. And again, I mean, we were on the road to 3,500. We didn't
still on that
quite
road.
get there,
Yeah, we're still on the
but follow us. Share us, spread the word. Let's see if we can maybe we can get to 3,500 by tomorrow.
That's a tall tale, but okay.
I'm ambitious for us, guys. Let's do it.
It's current year. Anything can happen.
Right.
Yeah.
But no,
so,
like Elena, I really appreciate you also
Yes.
reposting everything.
I was just gonna say,
Yes,
thanks for
thank you.
coming on.
It's my pleasure. I mean, like I said, I've been listening to you guys for at least like almost a couple years now. So it was a lot of fun. I'm really happy that I finally got to come on as a guest. It's a little surreal. So thank you so much for inviting me to come on. It was really fun.
We were just saying Carla has really cool friends, so
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Elena. All right. Okay, everybody. Happy May the 4th.
Yeah.
It was a good day.
Hashtag Star Wars Day. Hashtag May the 4th. Hashtag May the 4th be with you.
Hopefully everybody got their fill of Star Wars for today, just like every day.
Yep.
Oh, this is a great way to end Star Wars Day.
This is true. This is true.
It really is.
Yes. All right. Are we all ready? Elena.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Are you ready?
Oh, she's excited. Here we go.
All right. Now.
Now
this
this is podcasting.
Hey, hey!
Oh,
Hey!
so fun.
She's been waiting to do this for years. Okay, let's get the music going. Yes. What? I'm so jealous.